Hello. This video is a demonstration of my yard pattern script for JMRI. And in this case, you can think of yard pattern as an inventory report for your yard location. This is my layout here in JMRI. These are my trains over here, and these are my locations. I have one yard. It's called City, and within that yard I have one track for express cars and 4 tracks for freight cars. Also, all the cars in the yard have a final destination. So let's look at the script. Okay, here's the script, and in keeping with JMRI tradition, you have to edit it a little bit to get it to work for your layout, but not too much. In this case, I have one yard location. It's called City, so I enter the name of the yard location for this variable here, yard location. And that's pretty much it. If you want to use it stock, you're done. That's all you have to do. You need one script for each yard for each layout. If you want to fine tune it a little bit, the next variable down is called use all tracks. If it's set to true, it will use all the tracks in your yard. If you set it to false, you now have to provide a list of the tracks that you want to report on. So that's the next variable. It's called yard tracks. So here you provide a list of the tracks that you want to report. It doesn't have to be in any particular order, and it doesn't have to be all the tracks. So you can have a subset. So in this case, I'm not really interested in the express cars, so I'm going to filter those out by setting use all tracks to false and providing a list of the 4 freight tracks. This last one here is open yard pattern. It's set to true, so that on a Windows computer it'll open your yard pattern in a notepad window. These last 3 here are pretty much decorative. You know, they're there to help your report look a little bit better. So let's see how it's used. First I'll save it. So let's see how it's used. To use it, I added a button on the Panel Pro home screen called YP for JMRI, and I linked that button to the script. So to use it, all you do is you click on that button, and there's your yard pattern. The first thing that it does is it groups all your cars into either staging cars or industry cars. So staging cars are called through cars. So it lists those first, and then it lists the destination for them. The other group of cars for each track are called local, which means they're cars that are destined to industry. And for those local cars, it also sorts them by final destination. So these cars here are going to downtown. Downtown comes before Park, and they're sorted by final destination. So Ash comes before Coal, and it groups them together so you can see at a glance what you've got going where. And for each track at the bottom, you have a total for that track. So for this one, F2, I have 1 car going to Easton, I have 7 cars going to Northton, I have 8 cars going downtown, and 8 cars for Park. And that's the case for each of the 4 tracks for this yard. And additionally, down here at the bottom, I have totals for the entire yard. So for this yard, I have 1 car going to Easton, 17 going to Northton, 9 going to Overton, 18 going to downtown, 26 to Park, and only 2 going to Valley. So as a yard master, you might want to look into that and see why there's no traffic for Valley, or since Junction's not even listed, there's 0 cars going to Junction. So as a yard master, you might want to look into that and see why there's no cars. Another thing you might notice is that there's enough cars here going to Park and downtown to build the trains. And even though you may use scheduled freight where the trains depart at a certain time, your yard job is pretty much free to build them at any time. So in this case, I might use this here to start the, when you're coming on duty, just beginning, there's no trains built yet. So you might start your yard crew off building the Park local, and then, you know, when they finish that, maybe they can work on the downtown local. And the Northern traffic is about halfway there, so you might have them kick all those cars into one particular track. So that may be how you might want to use this. Over here on the trains window, at the bottom, there's a switch list button, and down here at the bottom of the switch list menu, it says custom switch lists. So click the button mark open, and at the bottom there's yard patterns, so double click on that. Now I use OpenOffice as my spreadsheet, so what that does is it displays a CSV version of this yard patterns, and it kind of looks familiar like a CSV for a manifest or a switch list. So if you're using Manifest Creator, this might work. I mean, who knows? And one more thing. Also, in your operations build status folder, this is where all your build reports are. So at the bottom, there's one called yard pattern, and I've started to implement exception handling. So there's a little bit, it's kind of like a build report, but it shows the errors. I can briefly show you how that works. Let's say you set this one wrong. You set it to 1, but really the minimum is 4. And you go ahead and build the train. It built okay, but over here in your yard pattern report, it'll give you a little warning saying that you used the wrong variable and it fixed it. So it's not really that big a deal. Other variables are more severe, so if the program crashes, it'll tell you why, or at least it should tell you why it crashed here in the build report. So thank you for watching this video. I would really appreciate any comments and criticisms that you may have about this script. Thank you.